Caleb, at the half, you guys led 8-2 in shots, and there were a lot of looks there from close range. How confident did you sense the group was at half that you guys were going to get the first goal?
Very confident. This team has a lot of belief. They believe in the way we play. They believe that eventually we will score goals. I love the group's patience. That's been an evolution. When you want to be a team that dictates the game with the ball up the field, it takes time, it takes patience to wear a team down, and it also takes balance with the back four, outside backs getting forward, but then also being able to manage the counter. They had one counter that I thought was dangerous in the first half where they hit the post. Other than that, they really weren't dangerous other than late with a few balls in the box, which you're always going to have to manage. And I thought Jonah and Josh Williams were unbelievable in there. Andrew Tarbell stepping in for Aloy Room, 2 clean sheets. That's something we preach all the time, that it's a team and everybody needs to be ready. And I think it's a great example of him stepping in. My goalkeeper coach, Tim Hanley, keeping him ready mentally all season. That's key. But, I was really proud of the performance. I thought it was excellent today against a very good team.
Caleb, you mentioned in your opening that this team went from being good players to winners. Is there a moment this season where you saw that happen in front of you?
I believe that the process of evolving into a team that wants to play good football, into a team that will play good football and win, which means you're going to roll your sleeves up and become a fighter, an alpha dog, a guy that's going to find ways to win, whatever it takes, be tactically flexible, do different things, which we've had to do in these 3 games. I think it's just taken time. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It started in mid-season when guys got on board, the group that was staying here. I think we had 7 guys that started this game that were here. Those guys, the ones that stayed, that were on board, they become winners and they become fighters. And you look at like an Artur, who for me has become one of the better ball-winning midfielders in the league. Harrison Alfo has evolved from an attacking back to a guy that can play both sides of the ball and shut people down in his channel. Milton Valenzuela is the same. Jonah Mensah is a guy that's adapted into being a player that plays to his strengths, which is an animal defensively and a beast in the air. But when you look at those players, the things they do in the attack, the things they do on the ball, those are still there. And I think, it's difficult to get that balance right. It's why I love my team so much, because you look at a Lucas, a D, Darlington Nagbe, a Pedro, a Giassi, it's difficult to find good attacking players that are going to also work their asses off defensively and grind and fight and tackle and do all those little things that you need to do to win games. And I don't think anybody can look at our team and say we don't play good football. We're fun to watch. We're exciting. We keep the ball. We pass. We create chances. We're aggressive. We press. And, credit goes to the players because, they bought in. The new players have come in and enhanced our team. And we're now in a final. And we're going to have a very good performance to win that game because we're going to be playing an extremely good team.
Caleb, MAPFRE Stadium has been home to so many important big chapters in American soccer, whether it's U.S. national team qualifiers or, of course, MLS Cup. This is the 3rd one there. You've obviously been there and won there as well. There's a new stadium right on the horizon, but how special is it to maybe give this stadium, this kind of original a soccer-specific stadium, like one last big dance here?
When I took this job, I had, a bit of a dream to be in this position, to be playing an MLS Cup final again at MAPFRE and to bring a trophy back to Columbus. I've won 2 championships here. I won one at Indiana with Jerry Yeagley in his last year, my mentor. a guy that's done so much for me, that's taught me so much. Jerry Yeagley, his last year, we won a national championship on this pitch, and then obviously with Portland. But for sure, there was a motivation to come here, to reinvigorate the club. That was obviously in a tough position for several years, and that's why I take jobs. I take jobs to ignite the community. I give all I have every single day when I take a job for those players, for those fans, and for the community. And I look at it as an opportunity to rally the community, to bring joy to the people in a city. That's what sports is about. So it's going to be a hell of a final. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope we can get as many fans in there that's safe as possible, that's safe. And the ones that we can't get in there, I hope every single person in Columbus is watching on TV.
Caleb, you mentioned the defensive effort. You brought it up after last game. Getting those guys to buy in. What is the approach as a coach to get guys that aren't necessarily defenders? You talk about Lucas and attacking players like that. How do you get guys to buy in to get these two type of performances you've gotten in the playoffs?
I yell at them a lot every day. And during the games, if you hear me. And it goes with the buy-in as well, right? I mean, I'm a passionate guy. I'm a guy that loves my players. It takes usually a little bit of time for guys to get me. It's tough love. I push guys. I'm very demanding, but I'm very caring for them as people. And eventually they realize that I'm only trying to make them better. And if they buy into that, they become the best player that they can become. And that's my goal for every player. I do this for the players. I do this to make them better. And I do this so that they can have the feeling they're having in the locker room right now. Because as a player, you only get a short window, and then you're done. And whether it's 30 or 32 or whatever, 35, I want them to look back on their time together with me and in the clubs that we're in, and feel good about it. And also feel like that, we develop relationships and friendships that will last forever, as maybe fluffy as that sounds. I think that's important, it's really important in life.
Thanks, Carlos. Thanks, Caleb, for taking the time. Obviously, Lucas was hugely involved on the goal and creating some other chances. Darlington was his usual self, out there pretty much the entire game. Artur with the goal and helped negate Heel and Bo big time. I'm curious what you've spoken to this a little bit, but if you could drill down a little more, what you thought of the performance of those three in the midfield.
Yeah, the way we play, those three guys are key. Both sides of the ball. I talk about balance, obviously. We want to press. To press, you have to have three guys that are the engine room that are going to work and battle, and then to possess and control games, you need three guys in there that can do that, can switch play, can combine with each other. And I always have felt that we defend and attack as 11 guys, but the three central midfielders for sure are the engine room of our team. And yet I think a lot of times the balance of whether or not we win or lose comes in the wide spots. You know what Lucas is going to bring. You know what Artur and Darlington are going to bring. But with Luis Diaz playing the way he's playing, he's proven to be one of the best young attacking wingers in this league, and he's a threat every time he gets the ball. And Pedro, has really the last 2 years been a very consistent player. His production, I think it's like 18 goals in 2 years. And I think the 2 years prior, he had 1 goal and maybe 2. So he's really taken off. But those three guys are, I had a very good group in Portland with Valeri and Nagbe and Chara. And I would say these three guys are very, very, very good as well. I don't like to compare, but, I would say big reason we won in Portland was those three, and big reason we're in a good position here this year is those three.
Congrats, Caleb. I was wondering, it's been a little over 3 years now since the threat of relocation first arose, and I know you came in after things had been rescued and taken in a positive direction. But I wonder if you could think back to what things were like when you arrived, and what you and Tim and the rest of your staff maybe sort of assessed as what the work you needed to do and the steps you needed to take to get this group to this level.
Yeah, again, I kind of look for a story when I pick a job, and it's got to resonate, kind of with me before I take on a project, and I got to believe in it, and I got to, again, feel like there's something to motivate me to give what I give, because it's a 24, not to be cliche, it's a 24-hour, 7-day a week, 365-day job, and I sacrifice a lot for it, and I give a lot, and it's not easy. It's a grind, and so I picked this job because I liked the story of the tradition of Columbus Crew being the first club, tradition of success, and I like the idea of reviving it, reinvigorating it, and motivated me to come here, and obviously bring a trophy to their fans. It's been 12 years since they've won an MLS Cup, and that excited me. And I knew the ownership and Tim Bezbatchenko, the leaders, guys that would be leading me. That's always important. I knew they would provide resources to obviously bring in a new stadium, a new training ground, to buy players, and then I was excited at the opportunity to work with Tim Bezbatchenko, who I think is one of the brightest young, he's still very young, people forget, but one of the brightest young executives in Major League Soccer. It's nice to work with a guy like that. He's smart, he's supportive, he pushes me in a good way. I'm 45, coached quite a while. It's nice to have, someone coaching me sometimes too, and saying, this can be better or that. And I think, we need that. Everybody needs that. So it's been great having him, working with him and giving me some new ideas. And he's a winner too. He's a winner. And Pat Onstad, he doesn't get a lot of talk, Pat Onstad, but he does a lot behind the scenes that people don't realize in helping us build the roster. And he's been a great guy to work with as well, along with, I could rattle off 20 more people, from Issa Tall and so on and so forth. But, it's a great group here. I'm on board for the long haul, and, we're going to hope to win this year, but we're going to keep trying to win every single year. We want to build a culture of winning year after year after year and contending for trophies.
Thanks, Carlos. Hi, Caleb. I wanted to ask you about Lucas. You mentioned how he's one of the most special players you've coached. I wanted to know if you could tell us a little bit more of what makes him so special and what he has meant to the team since his arrival.
Yeah, when we were looking for a 10 last year, obviously we knew we were going to be losing, a legend here and a very good player, Pipa, Federico Higuain. And that's big shoes to follow. And for our system to work, our game model to work, our philosophy to work, you need a number 10 that's going to, kind of move your team, run your attack, be that, final third player, production, but also fit our team defensively as well. It's not an easy position to find. But when you look around the league in Argentina, Argentines seem to be the best guys to go for. And when Tim and Pat presented Lucas, along with a bunch of other guys, and they can tell you this, it took 5 minutes watching this guy to go, that's the guy, and they obviously loved him as well. But, usually when I like a player in 5 minutes, he's going to be a very good player. I think what's unique about him is he's one of the most creative and crafty dribblers. Not a face you up necessarily type of dribbler, but a guy that can just cut you up and get you off balance. And he's so unpredictable his style in that regard. And when you look at the goal, I think he had 2-3 cuts and just got, their player off his feet to then free himself up for the cross. And when I started digging into this guy and really watching him and went down there to see him and met with him, excuse my French, I couldn't believe how good he was. I was like, I've never seen a guy that does the stuff he does. I think he needed a little bit of motivation himself, right? I mean, when I left Portland, I needed to be motivated. I needed something to motivate me. I think he got stagnant at Tigres, obviously had a good run there and then was kind of being phased out. And when we met, I'm married, so don't take this the wrong way, but I think we fell in love, him and I, because we met and we talked and he shared his kind of goals and I shared my goals as well. And it was like, let's do this, and I told him after this game today, like, he's an unbelievable guy, a good person, and an unbelievable player. So we're real lucky to have him.
Caleb, Jonathan appeared to be pretty emotional after the game. He was on hands and knees, and I believe you walked over to him and said something. Wondering what you said, but more just how much you have demanded of him this year in his first year as captain. I know there's still a game left here, but I guess talk about the kind of moment for him, and especially, the last 2 games he's come up when you needed him to.
Yeah, I think, again, there's different ways to coach and lead and all that. But, the way I coach, I love my players. I mean that. They mean a lot to me. And I care about them as people. And that's, again, what motivates me to give what I give. I've gotten real close with Jonah. I think he's an unbelievable person. One of the best people you'll ever meet. Just big heart, really good guy, really special leader. And he's been 9 months without maybe longer, 10 months without his wife. He hasn't seen his wife in 10 months. And, I couldn't imagine being 10 months without my wife. And the fact that goes home every day alone and then comes to training and just rolls his sleeves up. And he's just an unbelievable. I joke with him. He's going to be the president of Ghana one day. He has that type of quality.